He was a guard sent along to protect them on their journey into the afterlife. And his feet had been cut off. So done so that he couldn't flee his post.
Was he buried alive, do you think?
It doesn't say, but it's entirely possible.
It's gory.
7 innocent people, 7 probably very healthy young people,
Okay, and they were
were killed so that they could accompany the priest and care for him in the afterlife. Now, you know, that's kind of a disturbing thing, don't you think?
disturbing story.
All that treasure and 7 dead people for what? The implication is very obvious. It was apparently thought that the life of the priest was important, but the lives of the other 7 people were not. He was of value. The others were worthless. In Washington, D.C., I'm sure a lot of you have been there, there is a monument to the Vietnamese veterans. How many of you have been there? It is a profound, profound experience if you've ever been there. Here you are in the middle of a major city with all the hustle and bustle going on, and you go down into this little miniature valley where the monument is, and with all the people running around and everything, it immediately becomes silent.
Yep.
No matter how many people are there, it is dead quiet. It's really remarkable. And it's a remarkable monument for a number of reasons, but the more significant one, which is immediately apparent, is this. Anybody who visits it, every name there is there. 58,000 names. They are not listed according to rank, with the officers first, for example, nor are the officers' names in larger print or letters than the enlisted persons. The artist wouldn't agree to that. She said that that would be too bureaucratic, too dehumanizing. She insisted that the names be listed according to the date on which they fell, as if to say, this day will always be remembered because this person on this day died. 58,000 names. Every single person killed in Vietnam is there. When the memorial was dedicated, every name on the wall was read aloud. It took 2.5 days to do it, but every single name was read. On that wall in Washington, D.C., every name is equal to every other name. Because every sacrifice was considered equal to every other sacrifice, and every life as precious as every other life. So James Moore asks a question. He said, how did mankind ever travel from Peru to Washington, D.C.? He says, well, amazingly, it was through another grave, but an empty tomb. It was through the one person who conquered death and showed us how to reach out to every person with love and respect and compassion. And he taught us that it's not enough to love those who look and think and dress like us. To fail to respect every person is to deny Jesus.
Right, interesting that memorial, most of the monuments to wars have the name war in them. This is the Veterans Memorial.
Oh,
And
yes.
it doesn't use the word war.
Yes,
It's
that's
honoring the
unbelievable, too.
people, not the war.
All of the monuments in Washington are impressive.
Yes.
But I never have experienced anything like that I felt when I went to the Vietnam Memorial. And, one of my cousins died in Vietnam. He was a helicopter pilot. And I found David Fox right there on the wall. It was a very moving experience.
Mm-hmm.
There was an actor who played the part of Benjamin Franklin for School Kids. he would dress up and tell his story in the first person to give the students a personal introduction to Benjamin Franklin and give them some idea of his place in history. And then when he was through, he would answer questions. Well, one day, a little boy, you can just picture this, little boy raises his hand and said, "I thought you died." Well, the actor said, "Well, I did die. I died on April 17, 1790, when I was 84 years old. But I didn't like it. And I am never, ever going to do that again." Well, that sounds pretty arrogant. And it was
Yeah.
pretty arrogant. But the actor was very pleased with his answer, very proud of himself. But just then, another hand went up in the back row, and another little boy asked, "When you were in heaven, did you see my mother?"
Oh.
The actor was stunned. He didn't know how to answer. He didn't know what to say. And he could tell by the boy's tone that he had just lost his mother, and the question was very, very important to him. The actor knew he had to say something. And inside he prayed, "God, help me. Please help me."
Help me out of this life.
And then he heard himself say, "I sure did. And she was the prettiest angel in heaven." Well, that's what you call moving from profane arrogance to compassion because of the grace of God. God did it for Peter, and it is precisely what Christ wants us to do. Move from arrogance to compassion. Move from selfish pride to graciousness. Move from selective love to unconditional love and respect for all people. That is the opposite of being profane.
That was a great lesson.
That was.
Next week, trust God when you feel lonely.